Live. A deadly home invasion in Contiki. An elderly man is shot and killed while his home in San Ignacio was burglarized. Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood passes away after suffering a massive stroke over the weekend. Lev Derman is handed down a 40-year sentence, while Andres Puque is indicted on a slew of charges related to the failed Sanctuary Bay investment. And Belizean Oscar Quiroz wins the cross-country cycling classic. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
The last time we visited Miss Francesca Howers was to deliver the exciting news that she was chosen to receive a home sponsored by SMART for its 18th anniversary through the Hand in Hand Ministries housing program. Since then, she has actively been participating in attending Saturday sessions to improve her life skills, cleared her property for its foundation and construction of her home, and has assisted in the construction of a home for another recipient of Hand in Hand housing program. All these activities are to foster a more responsible, responsive citizen in our community.
Live your best life and explore more with Samsung. Go on an adventure, travel in style, and capture your memories with a Galaxy. This month, Samsung phones start at an extremely low price of only $309, and Galaxy Tab start at only $399. The full Galaxy lineup includes the A03, A04, A23, A33, A53, S20 FE, Z Flip, Z Fold 4, Tab A7, and the latest and most innovative release, the S23 series. Perfect for capturing all of life's adventures. Plus, when you buy any A-series device, you'll get a free 32GB SD card. Shop these awesome devices at any of Samsung's authorized resellers countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Quartz, and Odette's Home Center, and get 1-year local warranty with your purchase. So venture out and explore more with Samsung.
And there was yet another mass shooting Friday night. Police have been narrowing down suspects. Meanwhile, the president will be meeting with the victim's family.
Just leave! I'm not leaving. You're pushing me.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
I met my husband through a friend and we got married the year after. All he wanted to do was to be a humanitarian. We had a birthday party for him, and the day after the birthday, he called me and he said, "My wife, I'm having some terrible migraines." We went to the doctor's office and the doctor gave us the news that it was actually lung cancer, stage 4. He did the first surgery and he was looking good, but about 3 weeks later, he said, "I don't think I could do this." And he took his last breath and he passed away 3 o'clock in the morning.
My name is Marcia Samuels White. I am an insurance advisor for R&G Life Insurance. I have been reaching out to Ms. Palacio for almost 2 years.
I remember my good friend Marcia. I remember her telling me, "Annie, you need to get your life insurance. You need to get yourself grounded and feel comfortable."
I found out that her husband had passed.
I was wondering, what am I supposed to do? How do I now take on the role of the breadwinner?
Everything has gotten real, knowing that she would be that only parent now to provide for the children. She said, you know what, it was time for her to really put what I proposed to her into action.
She said, "Don't worry, everything will be okay. We will work with you," and that's exactly what she did.
I would advise anybody who has family, who have young children that they're taking care of, to think about it. Come in and talk to an insurance advisor. Make that first step and provide that financial security for their families.
I'm happy to be a part of R&G Life. It has really made me feel comfortable to know that I don't want anything to happen, but if it does, that my kids will be set. And I was grateful for that.
The Belize Tourism Board is looking for a catchy and creative jingle for its Civic Pride campaign. The campaign promotes values such as pride and appreciation for Belize, no littering, respect for our national anthem and flag, and protection of our resources, to name a few. Qualifying jingles must be 30 to 45 seconds long in MP3 format. The lyrics should be primarily in English, but can include phrases from other cultural groups in Belize, and must include the words Civic Pride and Belize. Jingles will be judged based on creativity, originality, musical talent, overall quality, clarity, and compliance with competition rules and guidelines. The winner of the jingle competition will receive a cash prize of $3,000. You have until April 17th, 2023 to email your jingle to pr@belizetourismboard.org. For rules and guidelines, call 227-2420, visit BTB's Facebook page, or email us at pr@belizetourismboard.org.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, April 11th. I am Sabrina Daly. There was a home invasion in San Ignacio town on Easter Sunday that resulted in the murder of an elderly retiree. William Maxwell Smith returned to Belize in February and was here to oversee the construction of a resort in the Kontiki area, where he also resided. On the morning of April 9th, a pair of thieves entered Smith's sprawling compound and proceeded to burglarize his home. During the incident, multiple shots were fired, resulting in one of the intruders being injured and Smith being mortally wounded. It is an incident that has shaken up the community, as the 72-year-old was well known and respected in that western municipality. News 5's Isani Catano begins our coverage of the events that transpired over the extended holiday weekend.
A deadly aggravated burglary over the Easter weekend has left a well-known family in San Ignacio distraught after losing its patriarch during the harrowing incident. 72-year-old William Maxwell Smith was at home in the Kontiki area of town when an armed duo ventured onto his property. His son, who wished not to appear on camera, recounts what took place on Easter Sunday.
On Sunday around 10 o'clock in the morning, my eldest son, he called me and he told me that he heard that there were some shots in the area on top of the hill, and he asked me that to find out exactly what the shots were all about. A couple minutes later, I have another friend of mine that texts me, and he asked me that if everything was okay. At the same time, I never knew what happened. I was still at home. From there, I took and I went down by the police station, and that's when I saw one of the workers for my dad, and he came out and his eye was red, like he had been crying, and he told me that that he is sorry for what had happened.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told reporters this morning that when officers responded to the report of gunshots in that area, they too came under fire from the assailants.
Upon police arrival at the location, they came under fire by those persons who were engaged in the home invasion. Police returned fire, and one of the individuals was caught to the leg, and he was subsequently detained by the police. A search of the house that was being burglarized, the police found the lifeless body of the homeowner, one Mr. Smith, with gunshot injuries. Also, there were a number of persons, including the wife of the now deceased, and they gave the police certain information.
According to Elridge McDougall, his father, a retiree who worked at the United Nations in New York, was always traveling to and from the U.S. and Belize, where he had planned on resettling after building a resort in San Ignacio.
Well, from my basic knowledge of what I know, he always goes back to the States, back and forth, and he's an icon here in San Ignacio, and everybody knows that he is a man that lives in the States, and that he is building and attract attention to many around the country, and that probably sparked some kind of attention to people that he's back and forth to Belize and the States, and probably that's why he became a target.
Quick police work led investigators to another suspect, as well as the recovery of several firearms that were stolen from the residence. The officers were also able to retrieve one of the weapons believed to have been used in the commission of the home invasion.
Based on the police observations of the scene, as well as information shared with the police by those who were present, police launched an intense manhunt for a second suspect. That second suspect is now in police custody, and there were 2 firearms stolen from the home of Mr. Smith during the aggravated burglary. Those 2 firearms have also been recovered by the police, as well as one of the weapons used by the burglars when they entered the home. That weapon was also recovered by the police. And so at this time, the investigators are putting the pieces together, and hopefully we should be able to lay charges against those 2 individuals today.
The community is reeling from the murder of the elderly San Ignacio resident, a well-known and outstanding Belizean whose only dream was to return home and open a business of his own.
Any loss is a major loss for a family. You know, my brothers, they will be coming in shortly. In a couple of days, they will be here. You know, and it's hard going forward. But we just keep it as a family, and we keep trying. You know, from one day to the next. You know, he held a high position at the United Nations, working for Belize for many years, and he is a retired person from the UN. He used to live in New York. You know. And now he decided that he wanted to come to Belize to build a resort and, you know, to come and retire here in Belize.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
The officers who responded promptly to the aggravated burglary are being recognized by the Belize Police Department for their quick work in apprehending one of the suspects not far from where the incident took place. Since the arrest and subsequent detention of a second suspect, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams has given assurances that all efforts will be made to ensure that an airtight case will be presented by the prosecution whenever the case goes to trial.
I will commend the police in St. Ignacio Town for the exceptional response. I think that the officers were very brave in how they responded. They were also diligent, as well as the investigations they conducted after the incident occurred was also exceptional. And I say thanks to them for, again, demonstrating to the public that even though the situation was a bad one, the family can breathe a sigh of relief to know that those persons who are responsible for what transpired are going to face swift justice, because we're going to make sure that we put together the investigation file as quickly as we can and get it to the DPP office for prosecution. And so, again, want to assure the family that the police will do what needs to be done to make sure that we put forth the best possible case before the courts to secure a conviction at the end of the of this matter.
Have police ascertained whether the suspect that was shot, was he shot by police or by, because we were receiving reports too that maybe the victim, the murder victim, had gotten loose and was able to grab hold of his firearm or something?
At this time, 2 suspects have gunshot injuries. One of them we believe was shot by the homeowner, but ballistic is going to confirm that. And the other one we believe was shot by the police while he was escaping from the scene. So there is where we are with that at this time.
38-year-old Francis Augustin, a resident of Hopkins Village, was butchered in the wee small hours of April 6th. When residents of that coastal community woke up on the morning of Holy Thursday, it was to the news that Chingu had been stabbed multiple times and left for dead in front of his home. It is believed that he was attacked by someone he knew. Earlier today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams provided a brief update on the investigation, despite the police department being unable to make an arrest.
The police had detained 2 suspects in respect of that matter, and we have not been able to get any good leads or good evidence. We do have good leads, but good evidence. We have collected a number of evidential materials that we will be sending for DNA testing. We're almost sure that one of the 2 suspects we had detained is responsible for that particular murder. But we'll have to await the results of the DNA testing that we are going to send to ascertain certain things, and then when that comes back, we should be able to levy charges against somebody.
Police have arrested and charged 23-year-old Jermaine Bardales, a fisherman of Belize City, 41-year-old Jermaine Horse Garnett, a laborer of St. Martin de Porres area, and 23-year-old Tyreek Garnett of Ladyville for the crimes of aggravated burglary and 2 counts of aggravated assault. The arrests come several weeks after a foiled aggravated burglary at that place took place at Serenian Bay Resort on March 10th. During that incident, officers responded to a call that a crime was being committed at that location. When they arrived on the scene, they came under fire by the fleeing thieves. Today, Compal Williams told reporters that the trio will also be charged for attempted murder.
Good work on the part of the police in conducting that investigation. We know that it was not an easy one, as the incident occurred during the dark of night and police were not able to identify the suspects. But again, through good police investigation, we were able to identify who the suspects are and gather the evidence needed to have been able to arrest and charge those persons with aggravated burglary and attempted murder for shooting at the police when the police responded.
Everyone knows longtime carnival enthusiast and coach Marina Welcome as the life of the party, so to speak. Every year for the better part of 3 decades, Welcome has been preparing, training, and coaching children to represent Jump Street in the Carnival Road March. But on Sunday evening, someone shot at the retired nurse's house on Rio Bravo Crescent off Faubers Road. It's an incident that has her shaken because she has no known issues with anyone and she lives alone. Today, the regional commander of Eastern Division, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Alberto Romero, shared what police had on the incident so far.
At 6:55 p.m. last night, police responded to shots fired at Rio Bravo Crescent, Belize City, where upon arrival they found Marina Welcome, who reported that she was at home when she heard several loud bangs. Upon making checks on her house, she found 5 bullet holes. Information gathered is that she was at home when an SUV pulled up. A male person came out and fired several shots towards her house. We are seeking several suspects for this shooting at this time.
The Belize Police Department has lost a well-known colleague, and so has the local media. Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood passed away this afternoon following a massive stroke that he suffered over the Easter weekend. The communications director, who had been serving in that capacity for the past 3 years, built a solid rapport with reporters, as he was also a familiar face on the television. This morning, when we spoke with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, he admitted that Yearwood's prognosis did not look good, but that they were awaiting the results of CT scans that had been scheduled for later today. Sometime around 3 p.m., we received word that ASP Yearwood had passed away at the Carl Huster Memorial Hospital, where we are told that he had been admitted to the intensive care unit. Here's what Compal Williams shared earlier today prior to the devastating news.
Mr. Yearwood has been the face of the police department for the past 3 years, interacting with the media, doing the weekly press briefs, as well as doing other public relation matters, as may be directed by myself or OCED for him to do. And so in a time like this where he is in the hospital fighting for his life, we want to ask the nation to please join us in prayers for him and his family. And we do hope that the good Lord is going to see him through and that he will be able to return to actual duties in due course. I know that he loved what he does as a press officer. He normally does it with a very high degree of pride and passion. And so for him to be out at this time, it saddens us, and we just want to hope for the best. going forward. In terms of his prognosis, the hospital is supposed to do a CT scan today, and we are anxiously awaiting the result of that CT scan to see if it is going to yield any good results. We're hoping that that would be the case, that it will yield good results in terms of his prognosis. And so we just await that result, that CT scan to be done, and then we see how things progress from there.
News 5 extends our deepest condolences to the Yearwood family, as well as ASP Yearwood's colleagues in the Belize Police Department. Coming up, Lev Derman gets 40 years prison time for billion-dollar tax fraud. Find out the details when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you shut off the kingdom of God from people." I conducted a funeral service for one of my dearest friends at the age of 62 who died of melanoma cancer. A small bump appeared on his neck, and then, less than 6 months, he was dead. For 28 years, I could not get him to go to church because he thought too many Christians were hypocrites. You know, Mike was right. There are too many hypocrites in the church. As far as I'm concerned, one would be too many. Hypocrisy in the church is not a new issue, however. Jesus dealt with the hypocrites in Matthew 23 as he says, "Woe to you, hypocrites," and he singles out their sins. Jesus rebuked them because they were hindering people from entering into his kingdom. You know, Mike's problem was not really one about hypocrisy, but about validity. The question is, does the hypocrites in the church invalidate the gospel message? Of course not. What then does validate Christianity? The answer is simple. The validity of Christianity is not based on imperfect Christians, but on the perfect Christ, who was tempted in all points as we are, and yet without sin. When faced with death, Mike did not look to the hypocrites, but to Jesus Christ, who received him with open arms into his forever family. He will do the same for all who come to him by faith. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Well, Michael, this is your new home and your new family. I am sure you will like it here.
Welcome, Michael.
Welcome, Michael. We're good to have you. We've been waiting.
And this will be your room.
Thank you, God, for my new family and my new home. This is all I ever wanted.
All children, even teenagers, deserve and desire a loving family and a safe home. Contact the Department of Human Services to find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
1. Introducing DigiOne Bundles. Bundle your home internet, mobile, home phone, and DigiTV services. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value. DigiOne. Digi, our national telecom.
From generation to generation, Bristol Water is there every step of the way. Taste you can trust.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
The last time the Orange Walk Running Rebels were at the Civic Center, they put a beating on our outside brother who were trying to defend the city. But it's now time that big brother, your Venice Belize Hurricanes, avenge this thrashing for our siblings and make the rebels respect the city.
Let's go. All around.
This Friday night, April 14th at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp, basketball is back from its Easter break, when the #1 team in the BEBL, Venice Belize Hurricanes, goes up against the hottest team in the land, the Orange Walk Running Rebels, where your Hurricanes is about to put a smacking on running pebbles, rebels. This game may be a finals preview. It gets no bigger than this, where your lengthy team, Venice Belize Hurricanes, led by the tall Chris Fraser, Jamel Harris, Alex Kakamo, Kirk Shabba Smith Jr., Greg Buckley and Marquise Cunningham, go up against the wide Orange Walk Running Rebels, led by Big Brian Beso White, Elvis Oliveira, and Matthew Young, in a battle dub that's length versus width. The bad boys are back! Bring out the entire family this Friday night at the Belize Civic Center to see your city favorite, Venice Belize Hurricanes versus the Orange Walk Running Rebels in a battle for the #1 seat.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The halftime show will feature a half-court shot to win $4,000. Remember to sign up for the Serena Bay Villas First Five $4,000 contest. Primary schoolers and high schoolers, bring out your posters and compete for the $500 prize. Lots of phone and tablet giveaways, courtesy of Smart and Cellular World. The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family. Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
Do you know how to choose the best engine oil for your car? We believe the best engine oil should provide optimal performance and ultimate protection for longer. For Quartz engine oil, our engineers have formulated age resistance technology, also known as ART. It's a breakthrough innovation. The interaction between oil molecules is increased, creating a super resistant molecular structure. So whatever the conditions, it helps to prevent the lubricant protective film from breaking. Any engine is exposed to harsh conditions. Extreme temperature and pressure, friction, sludge accumulation. The molecular structure of quartz with ART stays strong to perfectly lubricate and protect engine parts in all conditions. And the results are outstanding. Protection against sludge buildup improved by 18%. Protection against mechanical wear improved by 74%. Thanks to Quartz with ART, save on maintenance and preserve your engine's power. So next time you wonder which engine oil to use, choose performance and protection that lasts longer. Quartz with age resistance technology. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Lev Derman, the Los Angeles-based businessman who made the news during his tax fraud trial in February 2020, when former Minister of National Security John Saldivar was named as receiving money in tranches from him, has been handed down a 40-year prison sentence. Derman was one of 5 persons who were sentenced for the roles they played in the biofuel tax conspiracy. The others are Derman's business partners, Jacob Kingston, who was sentenced to 18 years, Isaiah Kingston, who received 12 years, Rachel Kingston, who received 7 years, and Sally Kingston, who got a 6-year sentence. They were sentenced on Good Friday after they were convicted of conspiracy to commit mail fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and money laundering. In addition to the prison sentence, Derman was ordered to pay over $400,000 in restitution to the IRS and a money judgment of more than $180,000 against him. They had conspired to fraudulently claim more than $1 billion in refundable renewable fuel tax credits from 2010 to 2018. And the IRS paid out more than half of the amount in credits to Washakie Renewable Energy, a Utah-based biodiesel company owned by Jacob and Isaiah Kingston. They then distributed the monies among themselves and Derman and thereafter, and conspired to purchase millions of gallons of biodiesel and rotate it through the U.S. shipping system to create the appearance that qualifying fuel was being produced and sold by their company. News 5's Marian Ali has the story in the following report.
Lev Derman, the man who former UDP Minister John Saldivar said he accepted campaign monies from in tranches, is spending 40 years behind bars, along with his former business partners Jacob and Isaiah Kingston and the Kingstons' mother, Rachel, and Jacob's wife, Sally. All were convicted of colluding to fraudulently claim refunds of more than $1 billion in renewable fuel tax credits from 2010 to 2018. Monies that were disbursed from the fraudulent claims were distributed to Derman and the Kingstons. Derman had Jacob Kingston send more than $700,000 on his behalf to purchase land in Belize, where they would have opened a casino. But the plan backfired when the details of the money transactions came to light during the quintet's 7-week trial. At that time, Jacob Kingston testified that he had communicated with Saldivar via text messages on Derman's behalf on how he would get monies to Saldivar. Saldivar, who had just won the bid for his party's leadership over Patrick Farber around the time when the Derman case began, was forced to resign as the leader-elect just 3 days after his convention victory and was suspended as a government minister. From the time the news broke, Saldivar has always maintained that he never saw his acceptance of the monies as corruption and swore that he did nothing criminal or unethical in accepting the monies. But last November, the United States designated Saldivar for his, quote, involvement in significant corruption, unquote. The U.S. accused Saldivar of accepting bribes for the improper acquisition of Belizean immigration documents and that he interfered in public processes for his personal benefit during his tenure as a government official. Saldivar and his immediate family members were effectively banned from setting foot on U.S. soil. Saldivar came forth soon after to speak his mind about the designation by the U.S. government.
My child of 9 years old, though not named in the actual information sheet, is targeted by this action. My son of 15 years old has been named. My other son, who has lived the last 16 years in the United Kingdom, has been named, as well as my daughter, my eldest daughter, who has also lived in the United Kingdom for the last 16 years, has been named, as well as, of course, my wife. I find this to be egregious. I find this to be unjust for them to also be targeted on this, in this, not to mention that I find it unjust that I be targeted without any opportunity at all to respond to the charges. But this is not just about John Saldivar. This is about human rights of all. This is about natural justice. This is about due process. Let me state, therefore, for the record, as I have stated many times before, I am innocent of any allegations that have been made against me. At no time have I participated in any corruption at the Immigration Department while I was the minister, or even before or after. And there can never be any proof brought out against me in that respect. I challenge the United States government to provide that proof. I have no difficulty in facing a trial, whether here in Belize or abroad in the US, once those evidence are presented to me, so that I may answer properly. I am not a corrupt person. As a matter of fact, I have conducted myself in public life. You would almost want to say that, as the saying in Creole goes, Maklala look like snake for me when it comes to corrupt acts. I have guarded my reputation. Unfortunately, incidences like the one with Lev Derman, again, where I was not involved in any corruption, have cast aspersions on my reputation.
In the first week of December, the United Democratic Party's special committee voted that Saldivar could no longer run as a candidate for the party in Belmopan. Only 2 weeks later, however, the UDP's National Party Council held a vote of its own on the matter, and Saldivar narrowly won the support of that body. But his own party leader, Shine Barrow, had called on Belmopan voters to reject Saldivar and went further to suggest that Saldivar should be criminally charged.
Endemic corruption is a bipartisan matter. And I would think, with the vigor that the Briceño administration went after Rennie Montero for essentially the same thing, using their ministerial powers to abuse assets under their control for personal gain. That is what I heard on the recording about the Mormons and Mr. Lev Derman. It's clear in the Constitution that you can't use your office for personal gain. And so if a willful suppression charge could be slapped on Mr. Montero, I don't see why it can't be applied to Mr. Saldivar. And if they are not prepared to do that, then they are not serious about fighting corruption, and they can have nothing to say to the opposition as we proceed. While I hope, I implore all eligible voters in Belmopan that can vote in the UDP convention for Belmopan to vote for anybody except Mr. Saldivar. Either one of the candidates would be better for Belmopan, better for the UDP, and better for the country.
Interestingly, while the Lev Derman saga has pitted Saldivar's back against the wall, he always seems to persevere. Despite Barrow's vote of disapproval of him at the convention in January, Saldivar went on to contest and win the convention for the UDP in Belmopan, the area that he represented prior to losing the last general election. Upon Derman's guilty verdict, the special agent in charge, Michael Mentlavos, had said that the verdict brings Derman and his co-conspirators to justice, that they created and implemented the massive biofuel scheme to fund their greed at the expense of taxpayers. And Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Richard Zuckerman of the Justice Department's Tax Division had said that the conviction should serve as clear notice to criminals who engage in any form of tax fraud in the U.S. The biofuel tax credit program was established by the U.S. government to promote a clean fuel alternative to traditional fuel options. Upon Derman's sentencing on Friday, Acting Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the LA Justice Department's Tax Division, Stuart Goldberg, said that Derman and members of the Kingston family cost law-abiding taxpayers more than $500 million and attempted to steal double that amount. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Back in November 2018, news broke of a multi-million-dollar real estate scam that had been operating in Belize for the better part of 15 years. At the time, the Federal Trade Commission revealed that two-time convicted felon Andres Puque, along with several associates, duped investors into buying Sanctuary Bay lots by falsely promising that the development would include luxury amenities. But instead of investing in the development with the monies received, Puque made off with millions of dollars that he used to fund his lavish lifestyle. The scam is the largest real estate fraud that the FTC uncovered in its history. It also resulted in a number of civil suits against Sanctuary Bay. Well, the latest news on the Sanctuary Bay fraud is that Andres Puque has been indicted in a Manhattan federal court for the crime of wire fraud and engaging in unlawful monetary transaction in connection with his embezzlement of more than $13 million from Sanctuary Bay. On April 5th, an April 5th release from the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, states that the 48-year-old U.S. national was arrested in Los Angeles and presented before the Central District of California. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said of the matter, quote, Andres Puque sold residential lots in Belize with a promise to build out an affordable vacation and retirement community in a tropical paradise. Instead, Puque's planned paradise turned out to be just a mirage, as he allegedly stole the very funds the development needed to pay for the roads, utilities, and other infrastructure, leaving the lot buyers with nothing but land they cannot access or use. This office will continue to aggressively pursue consumer fraud to ensure that businesses deliver on their promises to their customers, unquote. The wire fraud charge carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, and the unlawful monetary transactions charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. We will continue to follow. Today, the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management issued a release officially informing that the public that a replacement for Lucy Fleming on the Environmental Tribunal has been named. The release says that following Fleming's resignation, the minister has appointed Anthony Paul Hunt Sr. as her replacement. Hunt will be representing the private sector on the tribunal. According to the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Mr. Hunt has extensive experience working in the tourism and business sectors and has been integral in the development of social programs in Belize. Hunt is a founding member and past president of the Belize Tourism Industry Association at the national level. He is a past board member of Program for Belize and past chairman of the St. George's Key Community Council. Hunt is also a founding member of the Kobe Foundation and YMCA Belize. The Environmental Tribunal was established to review an appeal that was filed by Waterloo, the principals for the Port of Belize expansion project, to determine whether due process was afforded to the company by the government of Belize and its various agencies. Viewers would also note that a claim has been filed in the Supreme Court on behalf of Waterloo over the composition of the tribunal and the constitutionality of that process. After the break, burglars make off with safe containing $38,000 in cash, cell phones, jewelry, and shotguns. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Safety is a cornerstone of peace of mind. And for a long time, the Belize National Fire Service has been doing our best to help ensure the safety of the Belizean public. We see that there is more we can do. This is why we have embarked on certifying firefighters to also be able to provide emergency medical services to the communities that we have been proudly serving. This means that we can now assist with both fire and medical emergencies with efficient time. We went even further and created the 990 Communication Center, an emergency dispatcher service developed for quick responses to fires, accidents, and health calls. This service is already presently available for the Cairo region. Just dial 990 and the first question you will be asked is, 990, what is the address of your emergency? You see, if we don't know where you are, we can't get you the help you need. Stay on the line and continue to answer the questions of the dispatcher. They will use the Beacon app to give real-time updates to emergency responders as they approach the situation and will be prepared to serve you. The Belize National Fire Service, the U.S. Embassy of Belize, and Belize Heroes have partnered to make emergency medical services available. We ask for the public to partner with us and call 990 for emergencies. You are help until help arrives.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
Tour guides, your renewal season is coming up. Please be advised that all tour guide license expires on July 31st, 2023. BTB will start accepting applications for renewal starting May 1st, 2023. Tour guides, we're asking you to apply early in order to have a new and valid license before the current one expires. To submit via email, you'll need a clear scan of each document in PDF format and properly named and labeled. Send your application with all supporting documents to tourguide@belizetourismboard.org and include your full name and your tour guide license number in the subject line of the email. Remember to fill out your applications correctly, as BTB will no longer be accepting incomplete applications. Contact our licensing officers at 227-2420 and press 1 if you have any questions or concerns.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
A significant amount of money, jewelry, cell phones, and shotguns were stolen in a burglary over the Easter holidays. The loot, valued at around $38,000, was removed from the home of a Los Lagos family that decided to take a trip during the extended weekend. Thieves cut a portion of the chain link fence around a residence at number 247 Los Lagos and pried open the door. They seemed to know exactly where to go and what to look for because they cleverly removed a safe that contained all the valuables. But what's worse is that the burglars poisoned the family's 4 dogs, broke the surveillance cameras at the property, and stole the recordings that captured them committing the burglary. The thieves also seem to have known when to pounce, as the family, as well as their next-door neighbors, was away on vacation. The Belize Police Department is carrying out an investigation into the incident, and today ACP Alberto Romero shared what the police had on the incident.
Coroner Ty Krupp, for 5 years, reported that between the 8th and the 9th day of April 2023, his house was burglarized at Los Lagos area, Ladyville Village, where a rifle, a shotgun, and several household items, jewelry and cash, all valued at $33,600, were stolen from within his house. Also stolen was the cameras and the recording device that was in the house. Several searches are being conducted at this time to try to locate the stolen items.
The police feel, or the suspect, the homeowner feel as if his house was being watched because it was a very meticulous. They cut the chain wires, the chain link wires, they broke into the burglar bars. They had to note that something was in there.
Yes, the area was properly secured and they breached all the burglar bars, the doors, and they made their way in. This probably had the information as to what was in there.
An Orange Walk resident lost his life on Thursday afternoon when his Ford Ranger pickup truck collided into a Freightliner tractor on the George Price Highway. According to police, at around 1 p.m., 32-year-old Ronald Hiron was driving a white Freightliner truck towards Belmopan City, and upon reaching mile 28, he saw a Ford Ranger pickup veered into his lane. Hiron told police that he swerved to the extreme right of the road to avoid a collision. However, upon doing so, the Ford Ranger, which was being driven by 39-year-old Orange Walk resident Roel Mogale, collided into the left side of the truck. Mogale died upon impact. We spoke with Mogale's wife, Doria Mogale, over the phone.
He was at work. He went on Wednesday. He went at Cayo. Normally when he go to Cayo, he spend the overnight there. Because he spend the whole day working at Cayo. Whenever he finishes work, he stay there so he won't be able to drive home late at night.
Yeah.
That's why he always stays, whenever he goes, he stays there. So Thursday he was coming back from home, from his work to home. I'm not sure what really happened until now. We don't have any kind of information to specify what was the cause of the accident. He was very kind, very he was very responsible with his family, with his kids. He wanted the best for us. In his work, he was so dedicated and did his all on his work all the time. What we all of us would like to have him, with us. Sadly, that can't happen, and we can ask for justice because we don't really know what happened. Whatever, it's on God's hand. That's all I can say.
A notice of intended prosecution was issued to Hiron. Police are investigating. Did a suspected drug plane that local law enforcement officials tracked overnight from South America land in Toledo District on Monday? That's what the Belize Police Department and its counterparts are seeking to confirm. According to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, the aircraft's flight pattern was being monitored closely after departing from South America sometime last night.
We did had a aircraft in our airspace last night. For a matter of fact, we hardly got any sleep because we were monitoring that aircraft from it left South America, and it vanishes in our airspace in the Toledo district. At this time, I'm not going to say much in respect thereof because we do have officers on the grounds conducting operations, and I won't want to jeopardize the operations being conducted at this time.
Jankono Productions is back with another one of its Belizean dramas. Belitopia is about Belize in 2050. The futuristic play captures life in Belize now compared to life in Belize 30 years from today. Written by playwright Julianne Ellis Bradley, Belitopia comes to life on Friday and Saturday nights inside the Bliss Center for Performing Arts. Sandra McKay, the founder of Jankono Productions, spoke with News 5 earlier today.
The name of the show is Belitopia. It's portraying Belize in the year 2050, very futuristic, and the tagline is imperfectly perfect. Because as you speak of Belitopia, you're looking at a utopic Belize, right? Almost too good to be true that things can be all that we want it to be. But we're bringing it over in the form of comedy. Comedy, some music, singing, some movements, and it's going to be very entertaining. We're looking at Belize now versus 2050 through the eyes of a family. And so you get to see everybody's, take on what's going on. Those who were here prior to 2050, the child who was born in the 2050 era, that's all they know, and so you get all the perspectives as to how you move through life, how you navigate through issues and challenges through the eyes of this family. But when I tell you it's funny, it is extremely funny. Julianne Ellis Bradley, my fellow founder of Jankono Productions, she's a playwright. And I told her, this is your best work ever. It is hilarious. We have tickets at the Bliss right now, and it's Friday the 14th and Saturday the 15th, 2 nights. All right? The tickets are for VIP, $100. And that's a balcony where you could take your food and beverage, and then just a few seats. I don't know if we have any more. Maybe we do. And then premium downstairs, $60, the middle of the middle section, best vantage point of the stage. Around that, reserve, $35, and upstairs, general, $20. So we're making sure everybody can come. It starts at 7:30 p.m. sharp.
Up next, the Garland stays home and Belizean runner dominates at the Carifta Games.
Explore the great outdoors with Benny's quality and savings.
At Smart, we embrace change
innovation, and equality. From energy and transport to telecommunications and network technology, our females are bringing their own style of leadership to traditionally male-dominated sectors and breaking down barriers for the next generation. Therefore, fostering our women's sense of self-worth, her decision-making power, her access to opportunities and resources is at the forefront at SMART. SMART celebrates all women this Women's Month under the theme Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
The last time the Orange Walk Running Rebels were at the Civic Center, they put a beating on our outside brother who were trying to defend the city. But it's no time that big brother, your Bennett Belize Hurricanes, avenge this thrashing for our siblings and make the rebels respect the city.
Let's go. All around.
This Friday night, April 14 at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp, basketball is back from its Easter break when the #1 team in the BEBL, Bennett Belize Hurricanes, goes up against the hottest team in the land, the Orange Walk Running Rebels, where your Hurricanes is about to put a smacking on running rebels. This game may be a finals preview. It gets no bigger than this, where your lengthy team, Bennett Belize Hurricanes, led by the tall Chris Fraser, Jamel Harris, Alex Kakamo, Kirk Shabba Smith Jr., Greg Buckley and Marquise Cunningham, go up against the wide Orange Walk Running Rebels, led by Big Brian Beso White, Elvis Oliveira, and Matthew Young, in a battle dub that's length versus width. The bad boys are back! Bring out the entire family this Friday night at the Belize Civic Center to see your city favorite, Bennett Belize Hurricanes versus the Orange Walk Running Rebels in a battle for the #1 seat.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The halftime show will feature a half-court shot to win $4,000. Remember to sign up for the Serena Bay Villas First Time $4,000 contest. Primary schoolers and high schoolers, bring out your posters and compete for the $500 prize. Lots of phone and tablet giveaways, courtesy of Smart and Cellular World. The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family, Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Sports Monday. I am Paul Lopez. It was a weekend of celebration in sports for Belizeans near and far. We begin tonight's coverage with the 93rd running of the Holy Saturday Cross Country Cycling Classic. Well, folks, if you have not already heard, the Garland is back where it belongs, home in Belize. Yes, it was a spectacular race. Just before 6 a.m. on Holy Thursday, 111 riders geared up at the starting line over at the Digipark in Belize City for the grueling 140-mile race. On the hour, at the sound of the trumpet, the riders got on their way towards San Ignacio town. 20 minutes into the race, just outside of Hattieville, 4 riders created a gap between the main peloton of riders. They were Belize's Eric Trapp, Justin Williams, Henry Lee, and American Ian McDonald. In front of the Belize Zoo, just outside of Mahogany Heights Village, the gap increased to 1 minute as the 4 lead riders had their eyes set on San Ignacio town. 1 hour and 6 minutes into the race, a group of cyclists from the main peloton launched an attack to close the gap. Among them were Oscar Quiros, Giovanni Lovell, Carlton Robinson, Brandon Catus, Wasani Castro, Giovanni Chota, and Byron Pope. Folks, that attack at mile 31 would change the course of the race. Leaving St. Matthew's Village, Corey Williams, Justin Williams, Ian McDonald, Oscar Quiros, and Jonathan Brown broke away and took charge of the race, riding at a pace of 32 miles per hour. Excitement from cycling enthusiasts grew as the 4 riders headed into Santa Elena town and onto the Lalumalus Boulevard with a 4-minute and 30-second lead. Heading back to Belize City, just outside of Ontario Village, it was now 3 cyclists leading the pack: Jonathan Brown, Corey Williams, and Oscar Quiros. They had created an almost 5-minute gap between themselves and the main peloton. Moving into Hattieville, it had now become clear that the winner would come from these 3 lead riders. All 3 rode into Belize City together. 3 miles from the finish line, Belizean Oscar Quiros launched a surprise attack from behind Williams and Brown. The other 2 riders got off their seats and attempted to respond, but quickly thereafter, they returned to their seated position while Oscar Quiros rode off into the distance. At the Digipark, the 2023 Holy Saturday Cross Country champion, Oscar Quiros, rode across the finish line to the deafening sound of fans cheering him on. He threw up his hands in sweet victory as cheers grew louder. Quiros was followed by Corey Williams in 2nd place and Jonathan Brown in 3rd place. We spoke with all 3 riders following the race.
It's totally overwhelming. I think at this point it still haven't synced in yet, and I dreamt about this moment for many years, and I've never pictured myself getting first. I know I was always a contender, and I mean, most people that knew me for many years, I always say, that I've prepared as much as I could, and, by the end of the day, I've done my part. And of course, I feel like it's just up to the good Lord when He decides, hey, it's your turn, and it doesn't matter what. If it comes your way, it comes your way. You just don't know when, and I mean, today He blessed me with one of the best feeling ever in my life, in Belize. I don't know what to say. This thing is just crazy.
Many people don't understand how grueling the journey can be, and you broke away with a group of 3 others from early on in the race. Let's talk a bit about the challenge, the will and the energy it took to keep up and maintain that lead throughout this race.
I mean, one thing that I changed earlier this year was the nutrition part. It never really guarantees you anything, but I know me and my teammate Johnny Brown, which was in the break, he told me that, you just have to make sure that you eat very good from very, very early on, be patient, and of course if it comes your way, it comes your way. And I don't know what happened, I didn't dream about it from when the break happened, but hey, it starts in a process, and I have to thank him very much. I have to thank Corey as well, Justin. You know, those guys made sure that the plan was for the Garland to stay here in Belize. If it wasn't me, it was going to be Corey. And, you know, I'm just very appreciative of how these guys, they support me. You know, they've put me up in the next level. Boy, here's the guy. Thanks, good job, bro. Man, thanks. I tried, man. I tried. You know, Corey and the guys, you know, they really gave me this opportunity to believe in myself a bit more here in Belize and outside. I mean, and from now on, you know, I just have to owe it all to them and everybody else that support me, my family.
Oscar's a really good rider, and that's why, you know, he's on the Miami Blazers, you know. I knew it was going to be problems. I didn't really feel great today, and I was kind of hoping that he would wait around for the sprint, which I think I could have got him, but he was smart, and he just played his cards right.
Then that sprint, did that catch you by surprise? Because I saw you got off your saddle for a little while, and then you sat down back like, all right, I'll probably just go for second place.
It didn't catch me by surprise. I was feeling bad most of the day, and I was kind of cramping for the last like 50 miles.
Wow.
So I figured once he got up, if he didn't go fast enough, I could probably get across. But once he went, my goal was just to make it to the line and not get caught by the people behind.
Coming in, like, I haven't raced in the heat, so it was a little brutal, but this was probably one of the coolest experiences I've had. I've raced all around the world, and people are so into cycling here, and it's awesome.
And from an impressive victory by Oscar Quiroz to an outstanding performance by Belizean Dimitri Myers at the 50th Carifta Games held over the weekend in the Bahamas. Having qualified for the under-17 boys 1500-meter finals, on Saturday morning, young Dimitri Myers went up against runners from across the Caribbean. The starting pistol went off and the race got underway. 1 minute and 14 seconds into the race, Myers broke away from the main pack of runners, maintaining a smooth pace. 2 minutes and 50 seconds into the race, he doubled his lead as he headed into the final lap. With less than 150 meters to go, 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the race, Dimitri Myers sprinted to the finish line to secure his first goal of the tournament. On Sunday, young Dimitri Myers once again stood at the starting line, this time for the 3,000-meter race. Early into the race, at 1 minute and 44 seconds, Myers took the lead. He clocked in the first 1,000 meter at 3 minutes and 3 seconds with a comfortable lead. Myers then continued to distance himself from the main group of runners as the race progressed, completing the second 1,000 meter in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. 8 minutes and 54 seconds into his run, Myers turned into the straightaway, overlapping 3 other runners for a final push to the finish line, securing his second gold medal. We spoke with Dimitri Myers and his coach Gregory Myers about this weekend's victories.
A successful Carifta Games. We had some ups and some downs, just like any competition would go. But in comparison, if we're talking about progression, we had a phenomenal outcome, right? We came last year with 1 silver. This year we come back with 2 golds, the first gold ever in our history. So we cannot be upset with that in any way, shape, or form.
I say just as long as you stick to your training, you're determined, and you're passionate about the sport, track and field. If you keep on going, no matter if your event is on the field or on the track, just stick to what you need to do, your daily routine every day, and when you get under the big lights, you perform at your 110%.
Well, folks, that's all we have for you in tonight's coverage of Sports Monday. Until next time, be mindful that nature is the best playground. Go out and have some fun.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at Channel 5, good night.